So I just finished watching episode 3 of HBO Max's The Last of Us Season 2. Here are my immediate thoughts. We see Ellie, Tommy, and Dina talk about their plan to get revenge on Abby. There's a line stripped directly from the game, but what Tommy says afterwards highlights a major character change to Joel. So Ellie says that they should go after them right now because if it were her or Tommy that died, Joel would be halfway to Seattle by now. Tommy qualifies the statement by saying that he'd go only to save his life, but when their own people died, he'd break down. Joel, in the game, is portrayed as a ruthless and determined man who will do anything to protect his own. But when Tommy says this, it really cements how Joel is so much softer in the show. We also see the council vote on whether they should expend resources to fund Ellie's hunt for Abby. Ellie gives a speech that tries to convince the council, and during her speech, there's a part in there that I believe is a direct message to the audience who have played the game. At one point, she directly states it's not about revenge. If you know the game at all, most people think The Last of Us 2 is about the circle of violence and how revenge is bad. I think Neil Druckmann added that line in there to try to convince the audience that have played the game to think that the story is anything more than that. In my opinion, adding that line is bad optics. It just comes off as pretentious and a complete disregard for the audience's opinion. Despite Ellie giving a moving speech, the vote is 8 no's and 3 yeses. But we see Seth, the bigot sandwich man, is sympathetic to Ellie's cause and wants to see justice be served, so he helps Ellie sneak out of Jackson and even gives her better weapons. They definitely changed Dina's involvement when it came to the journey to Seattle. In the show, she outlines the entire journey and is very thorough. I'm pretty sure in the game, Dina isn't even involved with the plan. She simply decides to go with her because it's Ellie. She's portrayed a lot less of a sidekick compared to the games and is way more mature than Ellie. Despite Ellie being a lot more grown compared to Season 1, she still gives off a lot of childish and immature energy. We also see Tommy and the therapist talk about Joel and Ellie. Tommy tells the therapist that he's afraid that Ellie's going to go down the same path as Joel. However, the therapist tells him that she's just like Joel, and that some people can't be saved. I think all the scenes with the therapist are pretty boring. It's unique to the show and a complete waste of time. We're also introduced to the Seraphites, a group that's in conflict with the WLF, or Washington Liberation Front. During their journey to Seattle, we see Dina and Ellie hunker down for the night because of a storm. Before going to sleep, Dina talks to Ellie about their kiss, and Dina clarifies that she's straight and back with Jesse. But the fact that Dina is talking to Ellie about the kiss and even states that she wasn't that high during it leads me to believe that she's lying about her sexuality. Another change they make is Jesse's personality. Dina speaks about Jesse and his apparent sadness, which is unique to the show. It adds a very mysterious layer to his character, and I'm curious to see how they elaborate on this in future episodes. All in all, this episode and its slow pacing was pretty predictable knowing what happened in the previous one. I don't like how Tommy's character is extremely toned down compared to the game. In part 2 of the game, he's arguably just as ruthless as Joel. In the show, he comes off as Maria's lapdog. Funny enough, I think one of the standout characters in this season so far is Seth. He showed that he prioritizes the safety and needs of the community over his untoward feelings seeing 2 women kissing. His redemption arc is actually pretty good relative to everything else in the show so far. I hope to see Jesse be fleshed out more in the show and not be reduced to a sperm donor like he was in the game. Let me know what you guys think though. That's all I have to say for now. I'll be back here when the next episode comes out. Take care.